versus synchronous interactions. Video presentation by INTERRACTIONKossiviSpptx, PhD student, Educational Technology, World University, Fall Quarter 2013. In all instructional contexts, including hybrid and distance education, there is an expectation that learning involves human interactions. Current instructional applications of technology provide two distinct formats for such interaction: asynchronous and asynchronous. Instructor to students, student to students, and student to content interactions are fundamental to higher education and are prerequisites to course satisfaction to limit attrition. Individual trace synchronous applications of instructional technology to the closed-circuit television on university campuses in 1940s. By the 1980s, video conferences and interactive television connected remote classrooms, allowing students to ask questions and discuss concepts. Synchronous interactions occur in real time and require the simultaneous participation of student and teacher. Synchronous communication and collaboration tools such as synchronous text chat, audio conferencing, video conferencing, and whiteboard are increasingly important components of online learning. At the same time, asynchronous instruction has its roots in early forms of distance education such as correspondence schools in 1996. Communication was truly asynchronous because a postal delay. Asynchronous instruction occurs in delay time and does not require the simultaneous participation of students and teachers. Students experience learning events independently, and learning is not synchronized in time or space. Although asynchronous voice conferencing has proven useful in some instructional contexts, text-based conferencing is widely implemented in post-secondary education and is synonymous with asynchronous online discussion. In a survey of educators, asynchronous online discussion was reportedly useful for encouraging in-depth, more thoughtful discussion, communicating with temporally diverse students, holding ongoing discussion where achieving its require, and allowing all students to respond to the topic. However, identify an associated limitation of asynchronous discussion include a lack of immediate feedback, students not checking in often enough, the length of time necessary for discussion to mature, and students feeling a sense of isolation as well as transactional distance. However, instructional designers are using advanced and innovative technologies to reduce transactional distance and provide media in conjunction with learning and instructional theories to influence positive online learning through community of practice. Based on a survey of students' preferences, Dede and Kramer 1999 concluded that asynchronous discussion provide richer, more inclusive type of interchange, but require more time and provided less social interaction than synchronous chat. While synchronous discussions are more difficult to implement than asynchronous discussion, they have the advantage of providing a greater sense of presence and generating spontaneity. Here is a summary of the video.
Strategies for the two learning environments. My understanding that synchronous is a live classroom setting and asynchronous is class online or maybe correspondence and at the student's pace.
Yes, Joe, you are correct. Synchronous is live, or face-to-face, and asynchronous is not. It is at the student's pace. And in today's education field, it generally means online. Facilitation strategies can be similar in both environments, but generally in an actual classroom environment, the instructor must be a timekeeper, be able to read body language, and engage the learners in discussion. Synchronous is of the theory of constructivism or peer collaboration. The facilitator may provide solid sentence openers to begin the online discussion. Software or electronic readings may also be provided to assist the students in collaborative discussion. Many educators also feel that good discussion can be extremely positive in the asynchronous environment because students have more time to think about the questions and answers prior to posting them to the discussion. The Journal of Asynchronous Learning adds that in cutting new perspectives, sharing experiences, connecting conversation, disagreeing constructively, and asking probing questions to reroute engagement are solid facilitation skills for this environment.
Wow. Yeah, facilitation skills, although a little different on both sides.
Need for dynamic skills. In case of the online chat, agenda is already set. Instructors could note student input and areas of progress as well as difficulty, which could be addressed separately upon the conclusion of the chat session as a part of an asynchronous discussion. Student-centered and self-regulated teaching using online resources facilitate information sharing in a network form to promote learning as students construct their learning in constructivist learning principles. Learners show higher level cognitive processing when they demonstrate analysis, evaluation, and creation. Dynamic skills support adaptive, which is transformative, and reflective learning. Adaptive learning is prescriptive, systematic, holistic, and humane. Student to instructor, student to student, student to student interaction, and feedback from peers are beneficial. In an online learning environment, a synchronous video, audio, and text-rich communication platform that simultaneously connects students to the wider affordances of the internet provide a dynamic learning environment. Information and communication technologies offer tremendous suppleness and enable instantaneous communication and interaction in blended or asynchronous interactions. To establish and maintain a strong sense of community in a distance education, it is important to develop strategies to engage reluctant learners who might lack intrinsic motivation for active engagement in collaborative learning communities, and establish intrinsic motivators by aligning with self-determination theory for integrated intrinsic motivation activities. Those activities should help ascertain the co-construction of knowledge with meaning for an effective level of knowledge accretion, promote initiative, creativity, and critical thinking. Parloff and Pratt 2005 advised to develop a systematic set of activities that build on each other and scaffold learning, collaborative projects, or complex activities that demand that students use multiple skills. Dynamic technologies. Distance education that includes distance teaching and learning is evolving at a fast pace to include static podcasts or video casts, web pages and text, and dynamic, which include virtual simulations, gaming, multi-user environment, and mind tools technologies. Moeller 2008 argued that static technologies were efficient at broadcasting information and helping learners build their own knowledge, while dynamic technologies serve as catalysts to engage learners in deep understanding, application, and transfer of knowledge through representation, manipulation, and reflection on what students knew. Anderson 2008 recommends the community of inquiry model that encompasses social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence for effective interactions, enabling participants to progress in the continuum spectrum from static left extreme to the dynamic right extreme. Emerging and advanced technologies allow learners to capture information in online learning environment that is supportive of experimentation, divergent thinking, exploration of multiple perspectives, complex understanding, and reflection than the traditional learning environment. In asynchronous and synchronous environments, instructional designing and subject matter experts should develop, test, and implement incipient and appropriate media and technology theories with instructional and learning theories to increase students' interactions. The 21st century online learning environment should portray high-quality learning activities, meaningful cognitive engagement through learners' autonomy and interaction in a complementary manner, and avoid mindless activism. Thank you for watching.